All right, here we go. Question number 7 from our 0314 homework number 7 in MyLab Math. And the instructions say find the zeros of the function, give exact answers, and approximate solutions rounded to 3 decimal places. All right, so we got a good bit of work ahead of us. And the first thing I notice is that it does not say that this is quadratic, so you're going to have to know that it's quadratic. So how do you know this is quadratic? Well, the first hint is that we do have an x squared, okay? The other thing I notice is that there are no other x's. There's no variables with a bigger power. So if your degree, let's call it the degree, that's what it is. If the degree of the polynomial is 2, then you've got a quadratic equation, okay? If it's a quadratic equation, you want to set it equal to 0 and then maybe use the quadratic formula. All right, so what do we know here? We know that A is 5, B is -5, and C is -7 if you're going to use the quadratic formula, okay? And does everybody have the quadratic formula memorized? Okay, if not, I'm going to give it to you in song. Here we go. X is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And there's your quadratic formula. We now need to plug and play. So x equals -b. Notice that b is already negative, so two negatives make a positive 5 plus or minus square root of b squared. That's going to be -5 squared, which is a positive 25 minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Next step, we need to calculate the radicand. We need to calculate the stuff under the radical. And using our handy dandy calculator, Casio Class Wiz, we're going to type in 25 minus 4 times 5 times -7. And the radicand is 165. So that gives us x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 165 all over 10. Again, 2 times 5 is 10. And now we're going to check with the calculator to see if that square root will simplify. So 165, nope. Remember, the Casio Class Wiz will reduce that radical for you if it can be reduced, and it cannot. And that means that this is the final answer in simplest radical form. And so we're going to need to put these in over here, okay? And I do notice I've got the plus minus option. So we're going to try to input that with the plus minus, okay? 5 plus or minus square root of 165 all over 10. Fingers crossed. Bam. Now then, the approximate solutions to 3 decimal places. That means we're going to have to input all of this stuff into the calculator and get it to approximate the answers, okay? So we're going to have x is approximately, and you do have to have a calculator to do this, whether it's the Casio Class Wiz or a TI-83, TI-84, whatever you've got, you can probably type this in like this, okay? Parentheses, 5 plus square root of 165, move out from under the radical and close the parenthesis. Now, if you notice what I'm doing here, I'm grouping the numerator in parentheses because when I hit divided by 10, I want to divide all of that stuff by 10, so you need to group it with parentheses. Now, for my calculator, if you hit equal, it's just going to give you the fraction back because this calculator is amazing. And if you want a decimal, you're going to have to hit this SD button. Bam. Now, we need that to 3 decimal places. So that's going to be 1.78 what? 1.78. Look at the 4. What's right after the 4? A 5. And so that means that that 4 is going to round up to a 5, okay? And then to do the other answer, we need to back that train up. And instead of the plus, we need to do the minus, okay? And hit equals. Again, the Class Wiz is going to give you the exact answer first, and you have to hit the SD button to get the approximate answer. That's going to be negative 0.78. And again, if you look at the third decimal place, what's right behind that 4? A 5. And that means that 4 is going to have to round up to a 5. And there are your two approximate solutions. Okay, now one more thing before I input those into MyLab Math. Let's talk about the Casio Class Wiz and how freaking amazing it is. If you go to the menu, scroll down to where it says equation/function and hit equals, we have a polynomial equation of degree 2 because it's quadratic, and we can input the coefficients. Notice the problem was in standard form already. So A is 5, B is negative 5, C is negative 7. And then if I hit equals, look at that. It gives me the first answer exactly. That is the exact answer in simplest radical form. And from right here, I can hit the SD button and get a decimal. Is that not cool? If I hit the SD again, it goes back. Okay, so I can get both of those. And then if I hit equals, I get the second answer. Hitting the SD button gives me the decimal. That is awesome. All right, now let's put that in and see if we rounded correctly. 1.785, comma, negative 0.785. Oh, man, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.